Hi, Erin Frame with Long Realty.
Ian Brandon, Nova Home Loans.
Here today with the Lowdown. Episode 23.
That's crazy.
It's freaking crazy.
Good job.
Yeah. All right. So today we're here to talk about, what did we word it?
A little less competition, a little more inventory. Please.
He's always thinking of these great things. So pretty much things are crazy here in Tucson a bit.
Yeah. In certain markets. Mm-hmm. What's our let's call it our average sales price?
I'd say 280-ish, 285, somewhere in there.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's that's creeping right upon a threshold, 300,000. That's a lot of money.
It is.
Right? So anything sub 285, we're seeing some massive competition. We're seeing multiple offers. Right.
And I was just telling him, one of the gals that I work with, she has a listing that she just went live on in Sam Hughes and had multiple offers way over asking price.
That's a little crazy. So
yeah.
Can we talk specifics on it?
Well, I think that was the thing, is that, it's a fixer. So she did comps, and it was a very old house, and she felt, she's been in the industry for years. She felt that she was, doing right by her clients with what they were asking.
Right.
Obviously the market's going to tell you,
Yeah, and sometimes we just don't know what the market's going to tell us.
That's
right?
Exactly right.
You do all your research, you do your due diligence, you list it for a certain price, and even as a seller, they probably agreed that, yeah, that price is fair.
Yep, exactly.
And then you get multiple offers, and it bumps up the price to
a lot. I want to say it was maybe up to 80,000 over asking.
That's nuts.
I know.
So Sam Hughes is a pretty awesome neighborhood.
It is.
It's also near the U of A, and we're creeping up on graduation time, right? We're getting near that point where out-of-state parents might be looking at doing what we did last week on our kitty condo thing.
Kitty condo.
Right? But that might be one reason. And out-of-state families, people in California, when they're faced with $600,000 mortgages, something for $280,000, $300,000.
And that's why most of them are cash.
Yeah.
I think she said all the offers were cash but one.
Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
So one thing from a lending standpoint that the cash offer won't have to worry about is an appraisal, right? So when you have multiple offers that are all cash, it really doesn't matter what how high above asking price you go, because essentially you are setting the trend for what the values are in that neighborhood.
Exactly,
because if you don't care what the true value is, then
you're not going to have an appraisal done. You're not going to care.
You don't need one.
Exactly.
But my first thought when you were talking to me about that, my first thought was appraisal. If I had an all cash offer on a property, man, I'd still want to know what the appraised value was in the eyes of an appraiser. Because if I was overpaying $80,000 for a property, and let's say the market tanks tomorrow,
Yeah, exactly.
Guess
you never
what?
know. Yeah.
I just made an $80,000 mistake, because not only is that property not worth $80,000 more, but now it's worth even less because the market took a dive. So
that is a good question, though, when you think about that. So let's say you have done your comps, you've done your research, this house should be valued at this price, and these people come in so much higher, it still does. Let's say they weren't cash offers. Let's say they were conventional loans or whatever. It would have to appraise.
It would.
So then that means that buyer would have to come up, because why would the seller,
They have multiple offers.
Exactly.
So in that scenario, if they were financed offers, me as a seller, you as the listing agent would be smart enough to say, hey, if you're going to offer above asking price, then no appraisal contingency. Right? You're going to have to waive your appraisal contingency, and me as the seller would want to make sure that if it came in at list price, that the buyer had enough liquid funds
to pay the difference. Exactly.
Because no bank is going to fund a loan.
The house isn't even worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Money talks. I mean, really,
Sure does.
It's crazy. So yeah, and apparently that's happened numerous times in the last week to several of the agents that I work with in my office. Multiple offers, quick. But then I have a listing, beautiful home in a different area, but it's very affected by snowbirds, is what we call them here. And I don't know if that's maybe playing a bit of a role on why things have been so slow at that house, because I think it's been a weird season for us here. And I can't tell if some of these snowbirds might be starting to head up back, you know?
Well, certainly.
Yeah.
I think right after Easter they head back, right?
Yeah, it's coming up. So it's just so different in each little niche that we have here in Tucson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes our market really interesting, because there's really no slow time for us. In other areas, you know, it really slows down in snowy areas when buying. You know, the wintertime, there's no movement in the market because you can't see the house because it's snowed in. But here, with all the seasons, well, no seasons really. 2 Fridays ago, we had like 4 seasons in 2
like
days.
2 days,
Yeah.
so we did.
But
and it was 80 something here yesterday.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
But here, where you can buy real estate year round and it's nice, and
even when it's hot in the summer, you're dealing with a lot more people who have kids that are out of school.
Yep.
So they're going to make that change during the summer.
Yeah, it's interesting that we see that. So those niches are correct, right? One tip I wanted to give people out there, when you know, if you're watching and you're frustrated because you're seeing multiple offers and not being accepted
And not winning.
Yeah.
Winning. Yeah.
Little Charlie Sheen, winning.
Winning. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're losing, one thing you might want to consider doing is something called an escalation clause.
Yep.
Have you heard about that?
I have.
So I've seen a few agents use something called an escalation clause to get their bid viewed greater than everyone else's. So how that works essentially is you put in, if the seller responds with the highest and best because of multiple offers, you can say, well, we'll do an escalation clause, $500, $1,000 above highest offer, right?
Yep.
So then you're guaranteed.
You're going to win. You might.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Nothing's guaranteed.
Nothing. But there's a good chance that they'll entertain your offer.
Well, the seller was like, well, if these 2 offers are roughly the same, and I'm going to get an extra $1,000 here, why not?
Exactly.
So.
But yeah, we were talking about escalation. All of that today. That's funny.
Right.
This was all in conversation. Yeah. So it's interesting though. You know.
Do you think sellers would take a higher earnest money deposit as a form of acceptance?
Well, I think if everything's matched up, yes, I do. If the same type of financing or cash, if it's the same offer, I think it's more. I think especially I'm finding people who have maybe bought and sold several houses in their life. I think that they see that as a, you know, it's a goodwill, I guess, and I do think it plays a role.
One thing that I want to encourage all real estate agents to do on the listing side is, if you have more than one, even if you don't, any offer you get, call the lender on the pre-qual. Anytime a listing agent calls me and says, hey, you know, I received an offer and you're the lender on this transaction, I just wanted to pick your brain about, you know, how strong these clients are. Man, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yep.
And I wish more listing agents took the time to do that. It's such a disservice to their clients by not calling the lender, if there's financing involved, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, you want to find out as much as you can.
Yep.
And if the lender doesn't call you back, that's a pretty damn good expectation of what the rest of the transaction is going to sound like.
And I'll say that actually was one of the deciders in this deal. Was the lender situation, was a local, because the seller felt more confident in that lender.
So what you're saying is, in addition to Tino's Pizza, we should also do local financing, local mortgage companies.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think so.
So go local?
It's go local everywhere, all over the place. But yeah, that was actually one of the deciders. One of them was like based in Scottsdale, and one was based here in Tucson. And they went with the one in Tucson. So that was what it came down to. So you got to think about all these things when, you know, you're in this competitive market, which we are right now.
You bet.
But yeah, I think that was a lot of good info.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Let us know. So we keep talking about going back to some charity work, which we need to do. So like I said.
Yeah, tell your story really quick. Tell your story about the socks.
Oh, so a while back during the holidays, we did we put these packs together of all sorts of things to hand out to homeless people. And one of the things Ian said from the beginning is the one thing they're going to want the most is our socks.
Yeah.
And little things you wouldn't even think about, you know, because we are so blessed that we have these things. So I made we each had 5 packs, I think. And I just handed out my last one to this darling woman and her 2 dogs. Very sad. And I said, I'm sorry, it's not money. And I handed her the bag, and she just looked at me, and she goes, I just want the socks. Like it had rained, and she had wet socks for 3 days.
Yeah.
So things that I am seriously considering just carrying socks in my car. I'm not lying. Like the rest of the stuff they're happy with, but things like that, you can get a big, huge pack from Costco and just start handing socks out.
Totally.
I'll tell you what, they're going to be really happy. So anyway, yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure out how to incorporate things like that into a lot of realtors' cars.
That'd be brilliant.
It's because we're on the road all the time.
Yep.
And so I'm thinking I'm going to talk to Steve Harvey with the Long Cares program, and he handles a lot of that. So who knows? Maybe that's something I could work on. That could be really interesting. So, but we need to make more packs. I'm out.
We really do.
And the funny thing is, I think you told the story about how we had both given the same pack to the same person on a different street corner. He looked at him like,
he's like,
well, you can never have too many socks, right? So I guess that's it.
some days there just aren't enough socks.
There's just not enough socks in the world. So buy socks, keep them in your car.
Hand them out.
Hand them out. That's right. That's the word of the day. No, words of the day. I've been on the road literally for 2 straight days. I'm exhausted. Okay, that's it. Any ideas, let us know. You guys are awesome. That's it. Peace out. Bye.